Hello. We talked about the law of demand in our last class, and we said that when prices increase, demand decreases, and when prices decrease, demand increases. We also said that this is a negative relationship which holds only one way. The reverse does not hold. So what we said was that we are talking about the prices determining the demand. We are not talking about the demand determining the price. Okay, remember this, that law of demand is just a one-way relationship. It's not a two-way relationship. The reverse does not hold. And we also saw that there was something about other things remaining the same. So we said that when you hold everything else constant, this relationship holds. If you change other things, like say taste, like say technology, like say income, then with that, your demand also would start changing in multiple manners, and then this law will not hold. So other things remaining the same is a very important part of the law of demand. We are going to be looking at law of supply today, which is a mirror image of law of demand. But first, let's understand. I told you about the behavior of the consumer, that when the consumer starts looking at the prices rising, the consumer tries to restrict the demand to save money. What happens if you are a supplier and not a consumer? So let's take the example of corn. Some 7-8 years ago, ethanol was considered a very good additive to be used in petroleum. It was organic, it was cheaper, and it did not decrease the efficiency of the fuel. So, a lot of nations said that let's start using ethanol as an additive to petroleum. Fine, very good. So, the prices of ethanol started increasing, and ethanol is made of corn starch. So, the prices of corn started increasing. Now, you are a farmer who also knows how to grow corn. But it's not necessary that till now, always in your field, you are growing corn. But now, when you are seeing the prices going up for corn, you know that the cost of growing corn has not changed, which means that your profits will go up. What will be your choice? You will go corn, right? You will, of course, grow corn. You will go for more profits because you are a rational farmer. And so, the general behavior that is noticed in markets anywhere in the world, as I said, it applies across cultures, across nations, and across times because this is a law. So the law of supply says that other things remaining the same, when prices increase, supply increases because you get more profits. And when prices decrease, supply decreases because now there is a possibility you might make losses. Are you mad or something to keep on supplying more and more? No, you won't. Okay. So this is the law of supply. It's a positive relationship, unlike demand, which is a negative relationship with price. This is a positive relationship with price. And just like the law of demand, remember, the reverse does not hold. Law of demand states how price determines the supply. Law of supply says how excuse me, prices determine supply. It does not say how supply determines prices. Okay, so now let's look at this curve. So just as we talked about when we were talking about the law of demand, that this curve is not in reality actually a continuous curve, but we keep it continuous for mathematical simplicity. Similarly, a line is far easier to study compared to a curve mathematically. So whenever we draw the so-called supply curve, we draw actually a supply line. And this is how we grow it with a positive slope. And as the prices are high, you will see that the quantity is high. When the prices are low, you will see that the quantity supplied is low. It's a positive relationship. Okay, got it? Now, remember, when we were dealing with demand, we said that when other things don't remain the same, the demand curve shifts. Because now you can't show it on the same curve. You are not talking about the same relationship. The relationship will change. And we said that the relationship, the change in relationship is going to be shown by the curve shifting. Okay, so your demand curve was shifting. That is what you showed. Now, similar thing you will show as far as supply is concerned. Yes. So, say for example, people become unemployed. Then they will, of course, demand less. Would this be reflected in supply? No. They are consumers, they are not suppliers. So, what would affect supplies? Not income. What would affect supply is whether, if it is agricultural product, if it is any kind of primary products for that matter. So, if there is a drought, supply will come down. Okay, it will go down. And when there is a bumper crop, supply will go up. Why up? Just see, for the same price, you would supply less because there is drought. For the same price, you would supply more because there is bumper crop. So if there is drought, your supply curve will shift backward. If there is bumper crop, your supply curve will shift forward. Okay. Technology. Technology improves in such a way that now for the same price, you can give a better product. Okay. So for the same price, now you will be getting a better product. Your supply curve shifts outwards. Technology cannot go down. So there is no question of your supply curve shifting backwards. It will always shift upwards. Okay. Then if the cost of inputs go up, now that doesn't mean that the quantity of supply increases or decreases, but that means that the prices now will get affected. So how do I show that? So I would show that because the prices have increased for the same price now, if I was supplying this quantity before, now I will supply only this much quantity. I cannot supply more than that because I have to maintain my own profits also. So what that means is that whenever the cost of inputs goes up, supply curve shifts backwards. Whenever the cost of inputs goes up or goes down, the supply curve shifts outwards. Okay. Natural disasters, we talked about droughts. So that is part of the same thing. Now this is the most interesting thing. Taxes and subsidies. Once again, taxes and subsidies are not going to be affecting the quantity of supply that the supplier wants to give. Okay. So what you are going to get is that if taxes are imposed, then for the same price, you will get less because the prices have increased because of taxes. Okay. So your supply curve will shift backwards. Because now if you were getting, if the wheat is say taxed, it is never taxed in India, but say wheat is taxed, then the wheat, the 1 kg wheat was costing 16 rupees without tax. Now it costs 20 rupees with tax. So that means that the 1 kg which was here used to be costing this much before, and now it is costing this much. And this part is the tax. You understand? So you have to show it some way. So this is how you show it. You show that whenever taxes are imposed, supply curve shifts backwards. Whenever the taxes or subsidies are given, then supply curve shifts outwards. Because now for the same quantity will be available at a lesser price. Okay. So that is how the entire rationale goes as far as the demand and supply are concerned. Okay. So now, what do we do with this entire thing, this entire philosophy of demand and in the entire philosophy of supply? So here, this is what we will do. We now put both the curves together in the same graph. And when you put both the curves together in the same graph, understand this, that you would have the curves intersecting at some point. And this particular phenomenon has a very, very important implication as far as economics is concerned. Because what it shows is that so let's see now. So say if the prices are P2 in the market, okay? Prices are P2 in the market. So at this level, the quantity demanded is this much and the quantity supplied is this much. So what that means is that at a higher price than the what prices should be, you have more supply than demand. And the producers will find that the prices are, the stocks are piling up. The stocks are not clearing. That's what they've realized. And because they realize so, um, just a moment, there is something coming on my, this thing. Okay, maybe I'll just say stop share for a moment. Let me just do something. No, it's not listening to me. Just a moment. It just refuses to listen to me. Restart to install the, I don't want to restart. Okay, restart tonight. Okay, it's gone. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we once again come back to share a screen and we come here. And so what I was telling you was that when the prices are high, what the supplier finds is that all the stocks are not clearing. People are not buying enough. She has stocked the items in the shop, but people are not buying. I need to clear my stocks, right? So what would I do? I would decrease the price. So as I decrease the price from here to here, I would still have somewhat stocks remaining. Not everything is clearing out. So I would decrease the prices further. And now all my stocks will be cleared. I would have no incentive to lower the prices now because my stocks have cleared. So as far as the supplier is concerned, the supplier is going to decrease the price from here to here to clear the stocks, knowing that something has gone wrong as far as the prices are concerned. I have to determine my prices properly. So the market prices decline here. Similarly, if the prices are too low, then what happens is that, as you can see over here, the quantity supplied is far less than the quantity demanded. Now, at this point of time, consumers will come to the supplier and say that I'm ready to pay more, but please give me this product. And so the supplier would find that he can actually increase the prices and the consumers will still buy. So the supplier increases the price. You still have supply less than demand. Consumers are still saying that we are ready to pay more. So the supplier increases the price. Now comes a point where his stocks have cleared. There is no running down of stocks. It's not that he's completely falling short of supply. No, everything is in equilibrium. Everything is, all the forces are equal. And now they are not pulling anything anywhere. That's why it is called equilibrium. It's a place where the prices stabilize. Now they have no tendency to move. So that is this price of equilibrium, which comes here, which comes at the intersection of demand and supply. So what we are trying to say is that it is the market goes through all these iterations. It increases, it decreases, it's here, anywhere. And then, but slowly, the market finds out the right price, the price at which both demand and supply are balanced with each other. And now you understand why prices are on the y-axis and quantity is on the x-axis. Because till now, when we were talking about it, we were saying that prices determine demand and prices determine supply. And so actually prices should have been here. But the thing is that what we are saying is, although prices affect the demand and supply behavior, the market prices get determined by the forces of demand and supply. So this is the dependent variable, and quantity demanded and supply are the explanatory variables, and they will decide the behavior of price. Understood? Now, the last point that I want to make, the very last point, that what if the government thinks that this price that the market has determined, this equilibrium price, is not acceptable, that the suppliers are looting my customers and it is not really working very well as far as the welfare of the people is concerned. Say these are the prices of medicines, for example. So then the government says, I will impose a price control. You cannot sell the product for more than this price. Now, as far as the mainstream economists are concerned, they would say that just look at this. At this point of time, your supply is less than your demand. What that means is that this is going to lead to black marketing, where consumers would want more and they would pay more in the black market, and there would be a parallel black market created. Or the government officers will start taking bribes if it is, say, some essential service like electricity or telephone or water supply. They will start doing that and they will say that, okay, fine, you give me more and I'll give you preferential treatment. So some kind of nepotism, some kind of corruption, some kind of black marketing, that is bound to come up as soon as you impose price control. This is what the mainstream economists would make you believe. Well, they're right. It has always happened in the history of all human civilizations that any kind of such controls by the government has generally led to some kind of corruption, some kind of the black marketing and things like that. But I just want you to understand things from the point of view of a developing nation also. That at times you impose this price control and you do risk some kind of black marketing, some kind of bribing to ensure that at least 70% reaches the people at the reasonable price. True, it would distort the market, but it would still benefit many more. And this is something which is a takeaway from a development economist, from a developing nation. You are not going to find this in any textbooks, but understand this, that this is something which is very, very important. So it is like your alcohol control, you know, that Gujarat is a dry state. And then how can Gujarat be keeping it a dry state when you know that you just have to bribe the police and you will get it, and you know that whenever you want it you just pay a little bit more money for the bottle of whiskey or whatever and you are going to get it, sure to get it. So there is black market, there is bribing, there is corruption. So what's the point? What's the point of all these controls? There is a point. I have stayed in Bombay, I have stayed in Gujarat, and let me tell you this. When I had maids in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, in Mumbai, lot of times, in fact, I would say almost 90 to 95% of the servants that I had who were females told me that their husbands are alcoholics and that they do not earn, they just keep drinking and they beat their wives, they beat their children, and the house life was really miserable. Then I shifted to Ahmedabad. And when I shifted to Ahmedabad, and I have maids working for me in Ahmedabad also. And both of my maids have been telling me that they do not have any problem of alcoholism as far as their husbands are concerned. That doesn't mean that that problem does not exist in Gujarat. All that I'm trying to say is that that the problem is definitely lesser in Gujarat. So controls help, whatever the mainstream economists say. For a developing nation, for India, know that at times controls are needed, although they would lead to some kind of black marketing, some kind of bribing. Know that for the general greater good, it would be at least somewhat beneficial. It would not be a problem as it is shown again and again in mainstream economics. This is what I just wanted you to understand as far as India is concerned. And so with that, I'm going to end today's lecture. And then in the next lecture, I'm going to give you some exercises and we will go ahead with macroeconomics. Okay, so have a nice day, guys, and I'll see you in the next class now. Bye.